Hello, everybody. We're back. It's been a busy day for shows today, and there have been some excellent ones, especially hosted by our wonderful colleague, Gangster Ghost. And it was really good to hear things. Interesting to see how people who are desperate to deny evolution will come up with anything, any possible nitpicking argument, often that they don't understand. But if they're asked about their own views, they're sometimes reluctant to share them. And of course, one of the big deal of the creationists, the young Earth creationists, is that Noah's Ark was literally true, and a number of us have questions about that. So far on the panel tonight is Aidan and the Big Bad Mama. And welcome, guys, or ladies and guys. And uh,
Thanks, Claude.
let's kick it off with a bit of a discussion on Noah's Ark. I know that much has been written examining it, like even down to building the ark, how difficult that would be. So, and Gangster Ghost is here now too. So, even building it, let alone all the animals. So, let's kick it off. Who wants to say anything? What their thoughts are on Noah's Ark, or what creationists would have to show if Noah's Ark was to be possibly true?
Can I
Kick it off,
start
Big
real
Bad
quick?
Mama. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say kick it
yeah,
off.
Yeah, so, I think it's the most important thing is to not even get into an argument about whether you can build a boat that big or how many people were building it. It's what they're claiming about the bottleneck of biodiversity that happened at that time, and that how that doesn't comport with the reality of the biodiversity we see on the planet now. And so earlier, of course, I asked Dustin about what his beliefs were about what happened after Noah's Ark. Was there some sort of a microevolution or macroevolution that led to a creation of all the species from certain kinds? And of course, they never want to answer those questions about their own beliefs, but only trying, as you said, Claude, to nitpick evolution, which has stood the test of time for over 150 years. So I'll turn it over to whoever's next, and we'll go around in the circle.
Okay, well, it has to be Dustin, Aidan, I think. And Dustin is welcome on if he wishes, no problem. Okay, Aidan.
Yeah, sure. I hope that he does come on. I guess I'll just say that as well. I do hope that he'll come on and represent his position because I think it would make the show more interesting to have both sides represented. But with that being said, to me, the story of Noah's Ark in the context of Scripture has to be taken from a historical account as a allegorical tale at the very best, or given the evidence that I've personally seen, especially extrapolated from other contemporary myths, I do think that it falls within that same category. I do think that there's a good chance that it is entirely mythological. And when I say mythological, I don't mean that they just came up with it out of nowhere. I think there's very few myths in human history that just came from nothing. I think that there was an event that was analogous to a very major change, both climatically and in terms of sea levels globally, that we can correlate with the very end of the late ice age glaciation period, the late global maximum. Might be butchering that a little bit, pardon me, but you understand the spirit of what I mean, of course. And um, I think that it's a tale about the rising sea levels that correlate with that particular event, and it is a Neolithic society trying to describe how they adapted and changed under those circumstances. And I think the fact that both we find analogous tales within Sumerian mythology and Babylonian mythology and other contemporary societies that lived within that same region, within that same time span, I think we can make a educated guess and say that this is likely a case of a very early story in humanity run through a very long game of telephone.
Hmm.
I
Yes,
agree with Aidan about it being a total myth, and the Sumerian myth having been written before the Noah myth certainly had an influence on the Hebrews. I would imagine when they were in exile in Babylon, weren't they?
The Hebrews were in exile in Babylon. That's correct. Yes.
Mm.
Wasn't Genesis written after the exile?
A lot of Genesis, as far as the writings that we at least have right now, are, if not the first examples of those written texts, at the very least adaptations of those texts that came from this particular region. We see that based on linguistic patterns that are only expressed within Hebrew culture in this particular time, that kind of they don't fully, by any means, Hebrew never does as far as a culture, but they do kind of begin to mesh with Babylonian culture to the extent that we can notice a change that is an aberration compared to later Hebrew script and later Hebrew um, writings on the subject. So I think personally that if it is in fact, as they say, this story that is divinely inspired, they need to account for the fact that it most certainly, from any of the scholarship I've read on this particular subject, not the original work. It is a work that is coming from a later time compared to when this event, a much later time compared to when this event took place, whether you're a young or old Earth creationist.
Hmm. We have now in the audience is Deviant Outcast, who is left off the ark, obviously, with a name like that, and Tyrannotherium, who is possibly fresh off the ark. So welcome.
Thank y'all.
I'm not sure who Tyrannotherium is. Is that someone known to us?
Yes, he's a dinosaur and prehistoric animal expert.
Oh, welcome. Well,
Well, I
that's
try my very best, but I'm not the best at it.
So how do you find the idea of a Noah's Ark, a literal Noah's Ark?
Even though that I am a little bit religious, I don't believe in the Noah's Ark part, because how are you supposed to fit a bunch of animals into a single boat or ship or whatever?
Oh, yes.
And the animals would get stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
And they eat each other, perhaps? Or...
Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Not
Oh,
only
no,
that.
wait a minute. No, I forgot. There's an ice canopy, which meant all the animals were vegetarian.
Yeah,
it was the magnets in the ice canopy that caused them to not want to eat each other. It wasn't.
Yeah, like Mr. Batman said that all the animals are herbivores. No, they are not.
I think, and not to go on too long of a diversion, I'll just say this and we can keep going on topic, but I think ideas like the ice canopy are a great example of trying to mesh something like science into something that is inherently not a scientific work. Like, I'm not even saying that to be offensive about the Bible. I'm really not. I'm not saying that the Bible is not a scientific work to be offensive any more than I would say that Harry Potter is a historical work. Like, that's just not what it is. We need to keep it, and obviously that's not a direct correlation. I'm just trying to make an illustrative example. The point nonetheless standing that we need to recognize that this is a book that, while it does speak at times of historical events, that is not first and foremost what it serves as. It serves as a book of parables in a lot of instances. I mean, Jesus himself is a man that taught exclusively in parables to everybody who was not already a part of his church. So that was what all I wanted to say. We can keep moving on.
Indeed. Also, crap. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I think it's like, without mocking the Bible, it's just saying, there's many people who believe the Bible generally, but they don't take it literally like, a number of the young earth creationists do. So when they're saying, they just say they're not mocking it. They're just saying they find it hard to believe because they apply various standards and measurements to it, and they just say this is impossible. So there's nothing wrong with querying something, and if people are offended by that, well, you'd have to say they have too thin a skin, you know.
I mean, isn't the Bible kind of a mixture of different things? I would say Genesis and Exodus are almost entirely mythological. And then we get into social customs that are in Leviticus and Deuteronomy and parts of Exodus. And maybe there's history worked in there with David and Solomon. And then the New Testament is largely, as Aidan pointed out, parables and metaphors. And to me, the miracles are metaphors as well. But I think it's a complex mixture of those things and not just what creationists believe, which is literal history.
Yeah, because the Bible was never written to be or intended to be one book. These are several different writings that have been meshed together and squished into one book. So I don't get where the idea comes from that everything has to be exactly literal. The text in and of itself shows that it's not. And even those who take it literal accept that there are metaphors and what's the word? Not parables. Or is it parables?
I remember what I was going to say. Also, the Bible doesn't teach you about science. It's not a scientific book.
Right.
It's not at all. So I hate when like young Earth creationists bring up that, oh, the Bible is scientifically accurate book. No, it's not. It's not science at all.
I don't think, and I just want to say this just for the sake of fairness, I also don't think at the same time, though, that the Bible is in the business of being anti-science inherently. I think people have personally interpreted some passages to be anti-science, but when I read the scriptures, I don't inherently get this message that you're just not supposed to seek after that. I think that's in more of the subtext of faith and how faith operates on human minds, and that's something I can get more into later. But I think the actual overt message of Christianity is not inherently anti-science, and I think that somebody that claims that it is honestly operating just as dishonestly as somebody that claims that it's inherently pro-science. So I just figured that was worth pointing out.
Yeah.
We have someone called Feral Cats coming on and saying the Bible is a history book, whether we like it or not, and we are legends in our own minds. In our own lunchtime, I think, is the normal saying. Thanks for the laughs. Well, I'm glad Feral is entertained. But of course, a history book implies that it's totally accurate. And well, I definitely would challenge that. I think it was written quite a few centuries after the event by a bunch of Middle Eastern goat herders in some cases. So anyway, that's Feral's opinion. And Justin comes in and says, it's old, but it's not historical. So we have some different points of view, which is always good.
No, it is. It's old and it's not historical, but it's a valuable insight into the mentality of a society at a specific point in time, as far as being a valuable part of a heritage of all of humanity. I think it's something that's worth looking at from that aspect. But I look at that the same way that I look at like the Iliad, right? Like it's something that I can appreciate as a work of art, but that does not necessarily mean that it needs to be true and that every single thing within it needs to be true. Like I don't think that there was a literal Odysseus. I don't think that there was a literal, Achilles. I don't think that these were people that actually existed, but they're representations of a society. They're snapshots of a society at a very specific point in time, and that's worth taking note of and taking heed of. But I think it's a very easy trap for people to fall into, to say, well, that's just the abject representation. The same was done in the ancient world before Christendom even existed, with the exact stories I mentioned. There were so many people that thought these were events that literally happened. I mean, Alexander the Great founded an entire city off the basis that somebody sailed past an island in a book somewhere. So let's, it's important to bring up because these are very important things that have rippling effects on human history. But we need to acknowledge them for what they are. And like we've said at this point, I think it's pretty clear that the evidence bears them to most likely be myths.
I think it's important that there's some people that totally dismiss the Bible as having no value, and it has great value as a piece of literature, and there's some beautiful poetry in the Bible. So I read the Bible on occasion just because of that.
When it comes to the actual building the ark, Big Bad Mama, you think that's an area in which people shouldn't really take a close look, or do you?
I just think it's an argument that you're not going to win with people. I think it's better to argue what happened in the post-flood world and how that led to our current biodiversity. And I think by concentrating on that, they can come to the conclusion that probably Noah's Ark did not even happen, that it is a myth, because the difference between what we've gone through in our evolution and what's purported by somebody like Kent Hovind in terms of a massive hyper evolution post-flood, the difference between those two things are really huge. And it's a hurdle that they can't, we saw it earlier today, they can't overcome that hurdle ultimately.
Not to mention, he also said that dinosaurs did not made it in the ark. But here's the thing, though. If dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals did not make it in the Noah's Ark, then how would they adapt? Because he said that, when it got colder, the dinosaurs got freeze to death. What about the other prehistoric animals like saber-toothed cats and woolly mammoths and etc.? How did they survive if they didn't get into the Noah's Ark?
They had to have been on the ark, right? And Ken Hovind would claim they were babies on the ark of all the dinosaur species, or at least the major forms of dinosaurs.
But I'm talking about the prehistoric animals that are not dinosaurs, like saber-toothed cats or woolly mammoths.
But imagine all the penguins, the baby penguins, who had to move all the way up to where Israel is today, or thereabout. They're tiny. They almost don't have legs. They're just like tiny cones with feet and all alone. It's horrible.
That's the other thing. That's a great point, Deviant, because biogeography's complete proof against Noah's Ark. I mean, why did the marsupials end up back in Australia, crawling from Mount Ararat, platypuses and koala bears, eating eucalyptus leaves the entire way back to Australia? It just makes no sense whatsoever. So I think that's a good point.
Yeah, not to mention Hovind said that tigers chase away the penguin. Not the penguins, the kangaroos, and so they went to Australia, which is stupid. But then again, there was a creature.
I think the reason that
there's a creature called the Tasmanian tiger, and it hunted kangaroos at the time. But it got extinct because people shot that animal because it was a pest.
It was a marsupial too.
Yeah, it was.
It kind of took the niche of a mountain lion or whatever, but it was a placental mammal.
Well, it was
placental mammal,
not
like
placental.
It was.
It went extinct in like the 1912 or something like early 1900s or something like that. So
well,
not even all.
The last one died around back in the 30s in captivity, and I think in the wild the wild one got shot Yeah, I think around like 19 something, 1912, probably.
Maybe I was
1915.
confusing the wild one for the one that died in captivity. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Yeah, the captive one died around like 32, I think.
It's I mean, like, it's unfortunately another victim of the Holocene extinction event, which is another mass extinction event that's going on this earth right now that humanity is playing the primary role in right now. And I'm not even like, I'm not trying to say that to be doom and gloom, but I feel like I bring that up because I feel like Noah's Ark is almost a way of humanity going, well, yeah, there's a lot less species than there were before, but that's just because of this other thing that was. And I'm sure that's partially true. Like, I have no doubt that the environmental and climatic changes have resulted in a lot of the special die-offs that we observe compared to what we would have seen 20 or 30,000 years ago. But I do think it's pretty undeniable based on the countless correlations we see of human populations moving into an area, and within a couple thousand years, that species going extinct within that area. I think it's pretty obvious that humanity at least played a pretty significant role in this event. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost a way of humanity obfuscating that and just going like, nah, it's not our fault. It's this other thing. I mean, like, I guess it is their fault, but it's their fault in a different way. It's not their fault because of like this abstract climatic thing or just a natural human need. No, it's our fault because we're a bunch of sinners. Can't be because of anything like environmental. Needs to have some spiritual connotation.
I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, it's just the climate overall. Just like with the megafauna in the Pleistocene.
I only say the whole spiritual connotation thing because, of course, the Bible is an inherently spiritual book, so it's going to view everything that's ever happened in human history as, well, that's God ordaining that to happen
I
or
see.
preventing this from happening. So I don't really necessarily say that to be rude or anything like that. I'm sorry if I came off that way.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Oh, imagine Ken Hovind believing cryptozoology.
He does believe that, or suggested that the reason there are no dinosaurs today, even though,
But I mean, like the crypto animals,
was-
such as like dragons and
Bigfoot.
Unicorns,
Yeah,
pterodactyls that he sees flying on the motorway.
Yeah, unicorns
Okay.
probably. I think unicorns are a crypto animal. I don't know, the chupacabra. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw a chupacabra."
That's a pretty good Ken. That's a pretty good Ken.
Yeah, I've been practicing because of thanks to Atheist Junior. Now I'm trying to copy like the voice.
Atheist Jr. is honest. He does a really good Ken Hovind. He's got it down to a science.
Yeah, now
He's
like
probably
I'm
the best
trying to,
one. Yeah.
like to practice and stuff. That's why.
Oh,
Like, I
he's
made a
easily
lot
the
of-
best.
Yeah, I
sometimes
know.
I do a double take. I think, wait, is that
Yeah, I
somebody
never
goes
hear your
completely
Ken
crazy.
Hovind voice, Clyde.
I don't have a good Ken Hovind voice at all. No.
Oh,
Aiden does.
Aiden does. Aiden can do everybody from Achilles to Stump. Yeah.
yeah.
The,
Let me hear,
talking
very best, the
me
very
hear
best
your
Ken
voice,
Hovind
Aiden.
is still Josh Bowen.
Aiden, let me hear your Ken Hovind voice.
Well, let you hear whose voice now? Well, what were you saying?
Pretty good.
Sorry, what was that? Sorry, it's me, Ken Hovind from CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. I'll let you know right now, if you get my lectures for just $50, and if you don't like them, you can send them back. I'll refund you within maybe 30 to 60 business years.
I remember that AJ was saying like his voice thing on his Facebook, and he was saying that, oh yeah, I could debate anyone and anytime. I'm one testicle behind my back. And, yeah, come in the CSC, okay, Howard. He said one testicle behind my back.
anytime, anywhere. That's right. I'll tell you what. I only have one left at this elderly point in my life, so yeah, one behind my back, no problem.
He's
Oh my
refused to
God.
debate me. Gangster Ghost will tell you he refused to debate
Yeah,
me.
Claude,
So that's good.
I got a
Yes,
hold of
Gangster.
Father Charles.
Oh, good. And how is he?
Uh, what happened when I called him and he picked up? He said,
Oh,
"Who's this?" And I guess the plus.
Pastor Charles is pretty cool.
yeah, but we've been worried about him. Yeah.
Yeah, Father Charles is absolutely fantastic, and yeah, Logan. It's really strange that he ended up doing that because you let me know about that not too long ago yourself.
Wait,
In between the
happened to
shows
him?
here.
What
But
happened?
he's just kind of been gone for a couple of
Disappeared.
months at this point.
Oh, I thought like he had something, or I don't know.
Well, we
But-
don't. We're worried that it might be something going on. So what happened, Ghost? You managed to get hold of him, but he didn't talk. Is that what you're saying?
He said, "Who's this?" And I'm losing phone connection.
Oh, then it dropped out. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that's no
But
good.
he's
I
all
hope
right.
He's okay. Well, yeah, I'm not sure because, yeah, he hasn't done a show. He hasn't been on a show. Very worrying.
Is he friends with Stephen Bolin, that Proverbs guy fella?
Off and
You
on,
what?
off and on. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
They go
yeah.
back further than anybody else in this community interpersonally, I believe.
Now,
It
Like
Captain,
they've-
that Proverbs guy used to be friend, used to not like Kent, and now he supports Kent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Like he butt worships and he says, "Oh yes, pastor, yes, pastor."
It'd be
That's a
like
very
if
good-
Judas tried to have his cake and eat it true. Like if he had he took the 30 pieces of silver, but then he went to Jesus and he was like, "Please, just forgive me anyway. I know I took the money, but I can still get forgiveness, right?"
It's like he's ass worshiping Kent all the time.
Did you
Yeah.
just compare Kent to Jesus, Adam?
Well, I will
I
tell
think
you
you
right
do.
now. No, listen, Deviant. All right,
Carefully.
listen. All right, listen. If there are somebody besides Jesus that I will say is a good man, it is Dr. Hovin. That is correct.
Who's that you're acting?
That's a guy called Achilles who's on Proverbs Guy's show. He's
Oh,
a guy
that
from
guy.
Greece.
Yeah.
He's made a meteoric rise from nowhere to now controlling all the panelists and telling them what to do. And the Proverbs guys just lap it up. He's great. He's taken over, and he's a
But
flat earther.
that's going to crash sooner or later because
Yes.
as we all know, it's Stephen's way or the highway.
I would love to like have a conversation with Proverbs guy, but I think it would be a waste of my time.
It's fine.
I'll speak from experience. There's no other outcome if you, unless you are you willing to fall in lockstep with like not all. I'll say he allows like a 5% deviation from his actual beliefs, but then anything after that, you're working for Satan.
Yep.
So if you're willing to be basically within like a hair's breadth of lockstep with him, then you can be on a show. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, if you're willing to be in basically perfect lockstep with him, you can be a host.
I probably don't want to deal with that type of crap.
30 views the live stream. I'm talking numbers, okay? We're talking serious view counts, okay? Like over the course of a year, you might just see triple digits on a single video that you do live with that kind of audience.
And what's weird is that he doesn't like when people cuss like a sailor.
Wasn't this about Noah's Ark?
And I think he
Yeah.
cusses too, though. So he's a
He
hypocrite.
does. Sometimes.
Well, he did say the other day they were discussing which words are acceptable, and I think they decided that ass and butthead were okay, but dick was out. You couldn't
Well,
call
even
someone
jerk
a-
was a little suspect.
Yeah, but everybody.
Wait, what about Dick being out? Wait, what?
No
He
dick.
said, yeah, dick
No
was
dick.
out, but butthead was in. Yeah.
Ah, so
That's
Dick was
very
out on
strange. I mean,
Proverbs
Dick is
Guy's
a
stream.
name.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Moby Dick?
It's very
Yeah.
entertaining. Yep.
Yeah, you know,
Deviant, you were
there's a
about to
lot of
say?
dudes that are called Dick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because it's short for Richard. Yeah.
That's exactly. It's
Yeah, but it
discrimination.
also it means something else, of course. But
Yeah,
my goodness, there are a lot of them on that.
Oh, I meant
show.
it. I meant it as the shorthand for Richard when I was talking.
Of course, yes.
Of
not to
course.
mention
Of
Ken
course.
Hovind likes
Me
to talk
too.
about animal penises a lot. So,
Yeah,
No.
he
like the
does.
whale's penis.
Are you a pervert?
Yeah, are you a pervert? Okay. What are you, penis? Hovind, penis. I like to talk about.
Kind of starting to sound a little bit like a certain individual in the situation.
That was very good, Tyrannotheria. Very good
Yeah, I'm.
imitation.
A
Yeah,
very
like
good
I'm probably
pers-
maybe the second best voice performance of Ken Hovind after AJ.
Ah, still Josh
was very
Bowen
The
good.
is
humblest, the
Dr.
humblest
Josh,
as well.
Dr. Josh
Humble.
does a great Hovind.
Who?
mhm, Dr. Josh.
Wait,
Joshua Bowen.
what did you say, Big Bad Mama?
Dr. Josh, he does a great Hovind imitation as well.
Oh, I gotta hear him.
Yeah, you check it out.
Claude,
Yes,
I have to
Ghost.
leave. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Oh,
You
bye,
go
Logan.
leave.
Good,
Bye.
great
Us,
job
Logan,
today.
thank you today.
yeah,
Oh, thank
and
you.
You did a
get
great
us
job.
our dinner,
Always.
please, Gangster Ghost. Order our
Great
dinner for
streams
us.
today.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Have a good
See you
night, safe
tomorrow.
day. Good
Good
night,
night.
everyone.
You too.
I
Take care.
Oh, have a good one, Logan. Sorry, I'm just making my chicken fried steak right now. I'm sorry, man. Have a good night.
Have a
You
good
know,
night.
I never heard in a while
night.
Brett King.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, I'm on here right now, asshole. Or wait, sorry, am I not allowed to curse on here? I'm sorry, Claude.
That's acceptable, but we take it from the Proverbs guy thing, and ass was okay. So you've
That's
just
true.
added a whole
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh, there
You
was a
can't.
And
guy.
it was in character, too. It was in
There was a
character.
YouTuber who was like doing like a parody voice and Brett King's voice, and he was saying like, "Don't stop, believe it."
Oh, don't stop believing. Hold on to that situation. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
We get together and we share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. It's
That was
great.
horrible.
What about
That's Brett.
the
That's Brett
rind?
bearing his soul for you, Deviant, and you're gonna say that I was horrible.
What I
What
find
about
very
the
stupid-
rind of Zeo De Dong?
What I find
Ooh.
very
Well, let me just ask you real quick, Big Bad Mama, how many atheists do you think died during the reign of Zeo de Dong?
Ding
That's one of
dong.
his great quotes.
What I find very stupid is that Brett likes to switch sides. He's all back and forth. Like one hand he supports Ken, then he hates him, then he likes him again, then he I don't know.
Working on all cinder blocks will forever be his best quote for me for firing on all cylinders. That was literally what he said rather than firing on all cylinders in one. I'm working on all cinder blocks on this, guys. Oh, that's Brett Keane encapsulated perfectly right there. And I think that he was Noah. I think that he is, in fact, Noah in the story of Noah's Ark. They both have the exact same description. Just trying to point that out. He would have been able to survive during the flood being a manatee. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's just try and collect the dots here and accept reality for what it is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And then he'll make a squeaking sound because manatees do make squeaking sounds in real life. I always thought they make like walrus sounds. Like you ever heard of a walrus sound before?
I've not. I've heard of seal sounds. It's probably the closest thing to a walrus sound.
But yeah, but manatees like they make this like very squeakish sound.
Let's hear it.
Give me 1 second because my phone is My phone died. Well, it's
I'm pretty
charged.
sure you said that it makes squeaking noises. The only time that I've ever heard a manatee actually make noise, it said, "Dorn! Look at the mac and cheese, woman!"
Let him do his imitation, Aiden.
Wait, was there
Wait,
someone
wait,
else doing an imitation?
I think Tyrannotherium is going to imitate a manatee, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I did not catch that. I was
I'm
sorry.
trying to look for it on YouTube. I'm trying to.
Oh, I wanted you to imitate it.
I'm sorry.
can't
I
remember
apologize.
it.
I didn't even
can't-
know that he was going to do that.
That's okay.
I can't remember the sound of a manatee.
What's a walrus sound like?
Well, sometimes they whistle. They make this sound called. It's like this. Here, I'll show it. Or I don't know. They. I'm trying
Wow.
to charge my phone.
Was that a walrus?
I was about to say, was that a walrus sound right
it's
there?
their whistle sound. It's their whistle sound. But
It
they
sounded
also
like a fart.
It did. It did. It sounded like Claude Bawles when
Yeah.
Achilles goes on a rant.
It was me moving on my chair. I've got a chair, and listen, I'll do it again. Yeah, so that's moving on the chair. Oh, here we go.
I was actually trying to find like an actual sound of it on YouTube, but my phone's dead.
I think that's proof.
That's
that
okay.
the
Thanks for
Bi-
trying.
You know, because the walrus is proof that the Bible is true. You know, along with the banana and the broccoli.
I do have another Noah's Ark topic.
Good. Yes, because yep, right. We need to.
You get some of these kind of more sophisticated creationists, like I would say, standing for truth, who try to point to a genetic bottleneck, which we think there was a genetic bottleneck like 75,000 years ago associated with the explosion of the Lake Toba volcano. And it killed enough people to create a genetic bottleneck. But they've kind of taken that idea of the genetic bottleneck and attached Noah's Ark to it and made it 8 people that were, the total survivors of Noah's Ark, in which there were tens of thousands of people actually at the genetic bottleneck during Lake Toba. So I just wanted to mention that they're kind of still trying to use the Noah's Ark story and getting a little bit more sophisticated about it.
Yeah, could you explain simply the genetic bottleneck?
Well, so you get enough people that die that your population goes down to a certain number, and it would be a genetic bottleneck because you'd only have the DNA would be, I guess, there'd be, what would the term be? Aiden, can you help me out here, maybe?
Yeah. Genetic bottleneck, Aiden? Hello?
Well, so basically less population, less DNA available for future generations, I would say.
What was the term? I was in the bathroom washing my hands.
Genetic bottleneck?
Yeah.
What is it?
How would you describe
it? How to describe it? It kind of.
I mean, I think I just did, but.
Yeah. I mean, it's a decrease of the genetic diversity that is large enough for it to make an impact on coming generations. So, for instance, you may see an increase in genetically not programmed. God dag hjärnan, är du vaken eller är du inte vaken? Hallå, någon hemma?
Hey. Are you
I'm
speaking
speaking
in
to my
Swedish?
brain. I try to
Right.
check if someone's home. I get no answer.
Hmm.
So I'm sorry.
What's going
Okay,
on?
so Big Bad Mama, I think it was talking to herself in Swedish, the deviant.
Yes, I talked to my. I spoke to
So,
my brain. I tried to
yeah.
check if someone was home because nothing was happening, and I got no answer. So I'm
It's
afraid
like yeah. It's
I
like when I
had to
talk to
stop mid.
God.
It's
Hey, sorry guys, can you hear
like
me?
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Sorry,
Huh?
when you guys were talking with me, my hands were literally covered in like raw meat and breading and all of that, so I apologize. I'm making mistakes. Anyways, the event that you guys are talking about in terms of genetic bottlenecking is, I think it's called a stochastic event. It's an event where you have it basically results in a more
Whoop,
You
hello.
cut out,
Hello?
Aiden.
You must be stuffing that chicken, I think.
Claude, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very well.
I can hear you too, but not
So,
Aiden.
so
I
a
can hear you.
genetic bottleneck occurs when a population is greatly reduced in size, genetic diversity of the species.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. And some of the
And
creation is like that. Yeah.
well, they propose that it's happened to the human species tens of thousands of years ago, but
Okay.
of course they have to try to fit the Noah's Ark myth into this. And so according to them, it happened 4,000 years ago, and it was down to 8 people. So the entire human population now were descended from those 8 people.
Ah, right.
Which wouldn't be possible. The inbreeding would be so severe that we would be killed off.
And also, like 100 years after the flood, I think was the Tower of Babel story, in which, this massive tower was built to the heavens, and 100 years from 8 people, it'd be a little difficult. I think it's 100 years. I'd have to. It's something really short, a short time.
Yeah,
But
it's really. I don't even know exactly how long, but I know it's a very short period of time. And in the story about the Tower of Babel, there are enough people living to create all of the languages that we have today.
right.
Okay.
So I call bullshit.
Of course, that's one of the worst. That's one of the worst stories in the Bible in terms of believing it literally.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
very offensive. Very offensive to me, and I'm shocked. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Claude.
Oh my goodness. I just feel so. I feel worthless. I feel worthless.
Do you want to block me? Channel block me?
But you're still allowed on, but you're blocked. But you are
Can I
still
be in the
allowed
chat?
on. Oh my goodness. That's reminded me of what happened yesterday with that crazy discussion
Oh,
with Lupin.
Oh, with Lupin?
Yeah.
yeah.
That just drove me like, how could you do that? How could you? Oh dear. Never mind.
I also wonder if there was like sea animals in the Noah's Ark.
Because of the
No.
salinity and stuff? Or, I mean, Kent would just say, well, the ocean was filled with water. Why would you need sea animals in there?
And
I
I
don't know.
actually think I might I could have dreamed this or had a nightmare about it. But I think the ark hur bra är jag? Oj, sorry. I accidentally opened the Bible exactly where it says the ark is constructed. So I had to congratulate myself.
I think
What
that's a
about-
message.
Because I think it says, of course. I think it says that the animals in the sea and in the sky are not included and are saved. They are not to be. It's just land. I think so. I'm gonna skim the text and I'll get back to you.
Hovind says that it was all freshwater at that point, and it only became more saline as I'm just saying what he believes. You know, I'm not. You know,
Yes.
they were all herbivores. It was all fresh water. There was an ice canopy until the flood, and then the ice broke and made the North and South Pole.
Now I'm the one that doesn't have an avatar, Deviant. Do you feel like do you feel solidarity?
A bit,
now,
but you still have like a circle. I don't even have a circle.
You're
I
right.
know, I
I
can-
at least have the circle with the blank
Yeah.
soulless.
I can
But
see
that's
your
okay.
avatar,
That's okay.
Deviant. I can see
Yeah.
your avatar. It's showing.
I do have it now.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on Gangster Ghost streams.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
I'm gonna be away for a little bit, but if you need me, just let me know and I'll come. I will come at your beck and call. Goodbye.
Just interesting when you did ask a certain participant earlier, Big Bad Mama, about his views on Noah's Ark, and he goes off and doesn't want to answer. And I've just looked on one of Mr. Owen's Genesis Baptist Church thing, and someone says here in Australia, creationism cannot be taught as science in any school, even faith-based ones. It absolutely cannot be taught as science, as it lacks any scientific credibility. And Owen replies, listen to the number of words. Some dumb politicians think it is not science to say the world and all its life obviously look designed, but they really show their complete stupidity in capital letters to say that it is science to believe the universe came from a dot and that they're related to a worm. You know, call Big Dino to schedule a debate so I can show the world why that evolution religion is dumb, D-U-M-B capitals. I'll take on any or all the politicians or scientists in the whole country at once. Line me up. What a load of crap.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
he
then
won't
again,
even debate me. He won't debate me. Ask Gangster Ghost.
Then again, Pensacola he went to, but that was probably a waste of his time.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
it's interesting how they think that science runs through YouTube debates, and it's like scientists are continuing to make discoveries supporting evolution every day, every minute of every hour, and yet they think that this is all decided through YouTube debates. And Kent Hovind is their star, you know.
Right.
Supposed to be representing the top of creation science.
He's the cream of the crop.
Right.
Mr. Currybow has come on. He's put a little thing up. How many ovens does it take to commit tax fraud? Just one.
Good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh dear. Although he did instruct his wife to do a few things, but she's no longer a Hovind.
Wait, which one?
Joe.
I thought you were talking about Sydney. I'm thinking myself.
No,
really?
he did definitely manipulate Mrs. Owen. She was convicted because of his actions, I think, and she hoped he would change, but he didn't change. But no, with Cindy, it's not a tax thing. He's just taken a lot of money from her, and some of it was a gift. There is no doubt about that. Some of it was a loan, and he has just waved his hands, and he's not going to pay that back. It's terrible.
Well, didn't he have Joe make the withdrawals from the bank? I mean, he kind of threw her under the bus.
The bus,
Yeah.
yes. And if he'd been a nicer person, he would have defended her a bit, and he would have taken the rap. And if he'd been a nicer person, he wouldn't have got the 9 years in prison either. We know that.
Right.
He was just an ass, and that's what caused it. So, or a dick even, and just needed to.
Oh my goodness!
Stupid head in.
Shocked.
Yeah. So Joe, you know, she was a victim of his, but
Yeah.
obviously she had some complicity. But I know, where he thinks women should do exactly what the husband says. Well, that's exactly what she would have been doing. I've got no
I
doubt about
heard
that.
rumors that Joe Hoven said that they almost got into a car accident and Kent threw her, not like threw her, but like pushed her aside or something.
What, to protect him? Or to
No,
save her?
he to protect Joe Hoven.
And that's one of his stories, is it? Or
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yes.
She was interviewed by this YouTuber who did a Ken Hovind documentary. It was actually a 2-hour documentary.
McKinnon Mitchell.
Yes, McKen Mitchell. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. That's actually
And
one of my.
she said some positive things about him. Wow, that's amazing.
That was actually my favorite documentary.
Oh, it's very well done. Yeah.
And I actually really like this sad but creepy music that he played.
No, it was very
So
thorough.
about
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, no,
I
carry
didn't-
on. Deviant Sweden.
In Sweden. In
Mhm.
Sweden, shall I read the Bible in Swedish for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yes. Detta är berättelsen om Noas släkt. Noa var en rättfärdig man och oskafflig bland sitt släkte. Han vandrade i gemenskap med Gud och Noa födde 3 söner, Sem, Ham och Jafet. Men jorden
my
blev
God.
alltmer fördärvad Guds åsyn och jorden
I'm a
uppfylldes av våld.
believer now. I'm a believer.
Jorden var fördärvad eftersom
I've
allt
heard
kött vandrade i fördärv på jorden. There you got it.
Wow.
What it,
For God so loved the world,
That
he
got me
gave
a
his
little.
only
It got
son.
me a little stirred up.
For God so
it's
loved the
the Holy
world.
Spirit
Are
of
you
Sweden.
Swedish?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
She's one of these beautiful Swedish ladies.
Yes, or
From
I don't
ABBA.
know. Yes,
That's what I
they
was
are-
gonna. That's what I was picturing when she was reading that. The blonde woman from ABBA.
Oh, but she's much taller than me, and her hair is taller than me too.
Well, I don't like her. I prefer you.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
I
you.
think I saved Deviant's life yesterday. I'm giving myself credit here.
I
Did you?
actually think so too. You very well could have.
She went on she laughed so hard that she almost busted
Yeah.
had an
Yes, she did.
embolism.
That was great. That
Yeah,
was
I
funny.
couldn't breathe properly. I got dizzy. I've never laughed to make myself dizzy and like it persisting after even stop laughing.
That's great.
To me, I wondered if you had a bottle of nitrous oxide because you're going to the dentist or something. That's what it was so good.
If
So,
only.
there any other things to say about the Noah's Ark?
Yeah,
Yes,
because I'm guessing you didn't understand that much about what I read from the Bible here. Also, I read from the wrong passage. So it says, all flesh, let me see, where was it? Yeah, God said to Noah, I have decided to eradicate all flesh, for the earth is filled of violence that they practice. See, I want to eradicate them along with the earth. So build yourself an ark, blah, 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 and it shall be this and that, tall and long, and everything is fine. And it says, I'm translating from Swedish in my head, meanwhile reading, so sorry for the pauses. I shall let the flood come with water over the earth, to eradicate all flesh that has in itself life. or the spirit of life under the sky, everything that is on earth shall perish. But with you, blah blah, han ska rädda. Oh, sorry. I accidentally, sorry. Switching between languages can be a bit confusing sometimes. Yeah, so it's all living flesh that walks on the earth, which includes birds. So everything in the oceans is apparently not guilty of sin, but the birds are.
Yes. Well, God said he was going to wipe every living thing off the face of the planet, didn't he? And that's when Ricky Gervais said he thought God might be gay because it was really over the top. I'm going to wipe everything off the face of the planet.
Yeah,
Right.
asteroid.
Yes. And then he showed
Have you?
pictures from the illustrations of the Book of Noah, and Noah was wearing these gold earrings and things, and looked very interesting, shall we say? Oh.
Even the
Have you
babies were guilty of sin.
Right.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? Baby animals.
They were evil.
Also, yeah, they are the worst.
Well, God
tiny
was the first
kittens.
one to kill babies, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's
he
kind of his
wiped out a
thing.
lot. Yeah.
He
And
actually
pregnant
loves
women,
it.
they got wiped out when he was doing the big wipings out. He wiped a lot. So, he sort of invented it, I suppose. But
He
they
did.
find an excuse for that. Yeah.
I just have a hard time. I have a hard time with relating Jesus to the Old Testament God, and I still haven't heard a real good explanation of how those two relate.
No, I agree. They are very, very different. I also don't really understand, because God is supposedly all-knowing and all-seeing and everything that is all. He is omni. So he must have known that he was going to regret having created the earth and all living flesh. So he knew he was going to wipe everyone out. He knew he was going to have this very contentious relationship with his people. It's never explained why the Israelites are the ones who become God's people and not all other nations, which obviously exists. I mean, in the Bible, in reality too, but in the Bible. And it's never explained why. There's no reason there. And then Jesus comes along, which means God has changed his mind again. He is no longer going to be this great punisher in the sky who is extremely particular about with what you should light his fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. No, I don't buy it. I didn't even buy my Bible.
Yeah, I just can't see how this vengeful God all of a sudden became a loving God who sacrificed himself for all of humanity. I just don't. I just can't wrap my mind around it, and nobody's ever been able to explain it to me.
No, and it's
decently.
not mentioned in the Bible either why he has this change of heart. what event happens that makes him change his mind? And also, why is God a man? I mean, he's
It's
a
true.
god. It's almost, and bear with me, it's almost as if the whole thing was kind of made by men with power somehow.
A
I don't
patriarchal
know.
society.
Yeah, it's so strange. But it couldn't be.
Yes,
I
well,
don't get it. One last
yes.
Noah's Ark. Just a tip to everyone. If you have never heard of a man named Irvin Finkel, you should look it up
Irvin
on the
Finkel.
YouTube.
Hmm.
Irvin
Irvin
Finkel.
Finkel?
Yes, he is an Assyriologist and a curator at the British Museum in London. He has
okay.
done a couple of talks, a couple of lectures, one of which is on Noah's Ark, and it's on YouTube. And the man is, I mean, if there is a God, it could be Irvin Finkel.
Okay, might be a good video to cover later if we
Yes.
need something to discuss.
Yes. Yeah, he talks about the origin and so on. It's very interesting.
Cool.
Uh,
Well, are you reading the comments?
oh,
Claude?
yes, I have. Yes, one I won't quite put up.
That one's pretty funny that you have of Justin.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Well, they did. Yeah, people say, that God created man, but other people say no, man created God, and that's. I'm afraid that's what I tend to think. That's not mocking. That's just I'm entitled to have that opinion. So.
I just read Justin's other comment.
Yes, I thought I would. I let you read that one. Yes. See, I'm nice. I try not to insult him too much. So, one day Dustin will come on this channel. One day Lupin will, if we can understand him. But I'm hoping that Lupin does a course in basic logic first. I think that would be very helpful to go.
Well, or just
So,
don't come on to disrupt the stream like he
yeah.
normally does.
And when you have something directly up there saying what you've done, and you say, "Oh no, I didn't," it's like a naughty boy. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's like, what's that Simpson character? But yeah, I
Was
didn't do it.
Proverbs guy on your channel, Clyde?
No, I'm banned from his. But the other day on Proverbs Guy's channel, Lupin was running it, and it gets confusing because Lupin runs it as his own channel and also simultaneously on Proverbs Guys. But at one point, Lupin says, "I'm not banned from the channel," and then of course they won't let me on. And then there's Achilles comes on and says, "You ban him, don't let him on," and blah blah blah. And Lupin goes, "Yes, so yes, you are banned from this channel." And today he was trying to say that I wasn't banned, and then I produced this recording of him saying that I am, and he still argues that I'm not banned. It's just nonsense.
Achilles told him to ban you from his own channel, from Lupin's channel.
Yeah, because I've had a bit of an argument with Achilles. Achilles doesn't like me at all. And now that I've discovered Achilles is a flat earther, I sort of am a bit sort of I'm quite provocative about that, shall I say? Whereas all the other ones on Proverbs Guy, they exist to sort of blow smoke off each other.
Well, I know that Kent Hovind does not like flat earthers.
No, that's the interesting
Right.
thing. But Achilles will say the second most important, this is what he said, you know who the second most important person is next to Jesus on
Christian,
earth?
next to most important Christian next to Jesus.
Jesus, yeah. Guess who it is? Kent Hovind, according to Achilles. It's a oh. So that's what you're up against. So because I scoff at that a bit, and I do, I'm not as nice as these other people. Big Bad Mama, much nicer than me. And so they
I'm
just
channel
don't.
banned. I'm channel banned
Yeah, you
too,
channel
as is
banned as
Aiden.
well. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I know that you're channel banned by Ken Hovind, but then again, you're creationist crybaby.
Creationist
yeah,
Crybabies loved on
it's
that channel.
allowed. Yeah.
Wait, what did you say?
I said Creationist Crybaby is loved on that channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you are creationist crybaby.
Kent hasn't added it up yet, or maybe he has, but doesn't. But he just doesn't get it.
They've added. They know. They just like to have somebody kind of be a foil for Kent.
Yeah.
And
It makes it a little
where
bit more interesting.
and what's weird is that he has this dummy, and the dummy has like a pacifier in his mouth. That's kind of weird.
It's a Creationist Crybaby mask that somebody sent him,
Yeah.
and it's got Crybaby written on the pacifier, which I'm honored.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, sometimes in amongst all the despair and despondent, a little bit of a sense of humor on both sides doesn't go amiss, does it?
It's got to be fun. I mean, this YouTube stuff has to be fun at the same time.
Yeah. It is.
Sometimes YouTube can be a dick.
Yeah, I agree
yeah,
with
sure.
that.
Yes. You can say dick on this show. You can't say dick on Proverbs Guy, but you can say ass and butthead on the Proverbs Guy. Oh, I'm
Not
taking
butthead, like Beavis.
I'm
and
taking the
Butthead.
piss out of them. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Well, since he said ass, I can say ass white, bunghole, dill hole, dill weed, like Beavis
Well,
and Butthead
yeah.
say.
If we're gonna
Ass
be
hat?
fair about it, yeah.
Triumphant buttocks.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
That's
my
a good. That would be a good
That's
name
going over
for
the
a,
line.
yeah. Maybe
Or-
you can make
or
an account.
jackass.
Triumphant buttocks and see if
Oh
you
yeah, I
can
have a drawing here actually.
post on Hoven's channel as triumphant buttocks. Oh my goodness, that's really good. I love that name.
Triumphant buttocks?
Yeah, I don't quite know what it means, but and the it's like and the trumpet sound and the triumphant buttocks shall sound. It's like
Oh
from
man,
You
the
should see my
creation.
drawing.
I
the
couldn't stop
Messiah.
laughing at your Ken Hovind parody music theme. That's so freaking funny.
There's a few different ones now. Big Bad Mama helped write the lyrics for the 12 Days of Hovind, and we've put that one up on his channel and now my channel.
I thought like you were seeing Big Bad Mama. I thought like, oh, holy crap, Big Bad Mama's singing a Ken Hovind parody. That would be cool. But no,
I sang a couple back
Yes.
a while ago, but the more recent ones are Claude singing, and
but
Big some of them
Mama
Claude wrote the lyrics
yeah.
himself and sings, and I just did the video for him. But this latest one we collaborated on.
Yeah. But the one when I did Excuses, which is probably my best one, Big Bad Mama did the what is it, the artwork and put it together, and that's a good one because the words from that are just, as I say to people who think, I say it's actually true. You listen to the words of Excuses, it's exactly what he does. I love that one, even if I say so myself. But well, look, I don't think we'll have a long show tonight because it's been going on all day, but I just wanted to, and I wanted to give an opportunity for Proverbs guys to come on and talk about their view of Noah's Ark. We can ask them to do it another time. And because it shouldn't just be always the creationist sort of demanding proof from the atheists. It has to be both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
So, here we go. If Kent debated flat earthers, he could actually win one for once. That is actually quite right.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because that is just I mean, and yet this is what I can't understand. So, as far as I know, there's only one or two flat earthers on Proverbs, guys. One of the ladies is a flat earther. How can they listen and seriously talk with Achilles when they know that that's his thing? You know, I just don't. I don't understand it. I don't.
Oh, I had a debate with a flat earther named Kenny Horwickson. He was a
Mhm.
mess. He was saying that the earth is flat, therefore everything is flat. The hill is flat, your car is flat, or whatever. And he also talks about religion, like saying that don't believe in the global earth religion or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. He's a Poe, actually.
Well, that's
I
it,
don't
yeah.
know. I don't know if you ever heard of a poet.
Yes, they
Yeah.
almost, yeah. To be honest, I think because, I've been banned from Hoven's channel under many names for years. I think Big Bad Mama is the same. And you go on, you get banned, so you have to change your name. You go back, you get banned again, you find another, But at one stage, I took the role of a Poe, and I was just saying how wonderful he was and how good he was at science, and he should be nominated for the Nobel Prize, and all his ass lickers were in there going, yes, you're right, brother. Whatever my name was, I forget at the time. I think that's a Poe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Just to the point it becomes ridiculous, and and eventually I got banned because I was so in favor of Hoven.
They caught on.
Because there are some people you don't want as your friend, sticking up for you. They're just such fools. We'll have to try that again, actually. It's quite fun.
That is a good idea. Are you going to do a comments on comments, Claude?
Yes. Do we do that live, or do we do that or would I do that as a video? What's the best thing?
Are you going to do some of my comments that I got on my videos?
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, well, in that case, we should do it live one day.
Let's do it live.
Yeah, and then because you can direct me to the videos in the comments, and we can comment on them. Should we do that? Yeah, we won't do it tonight, though, will we? I think.
No.
I'm a bit tired.
No, let's
save that for another day.
Yeah, let's wait for right out, maybe the week after Christmas or something.
Yes, yeah. I might do some on my channel stuff. It depends how many there are. There are some. God, there's some idiots there. Oh, I mean, sorry, some silly people there. Pozzi, Dan Pozzi, Pozzi.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. I actually think it's quite good because he helps get the the algorithm up. So it's very actually good. But my goodness, you can't have a logical argument at all. Okay, well, look, we will call it quits, and thank you for your participation. And we can hopefully, with the Proverbs guys, to get another point of view, talk about the Noah's Ark one day. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to say good night. Happy dreams. And if we don't talk again, have yourself a Merry Christmas. Oh, God. Okay.
Merry
Good night,
Christmas.
everyone.
Take care. Merry Christmas.
Take care. Merry Christmas to all.